Okay, today for English class, we're going to be looking at a story called Clocks. Now you can find this, let me focus, on page 37 in your workbook. After reading the story, we just have a couple questions. A, B, C, and D. We're going to be putting these clocks that you see in order. 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to read the story to you. I want you just to follow along so that hopefully you will also be able to read this story. Okay, let's begin. I will try to hold this steady for you. A wide variety of clocks were invented throughout history. The Greeks invented the first clocks around 250 BC. It was a water clock called clepsydra. It looked like a pot. Egyptians and Babylonians also used these clocks. The Germans made the first clocks that didn't use water. The first clock was a wall clock with a bell. The second was the grandfather clock. It was very big. Joseph Nib, that K is silent, Nib, was the man who made it in 1690. Levi Hutchins of Concord, New Hampshire, made the first alarm clock in the U.S. in 1787. It rang only at 4 a.m., but it was good for him because he always wanted to wake up at that time. Antoine Ryder made the first modern alarm clock in 1847. And the electric alarm clock appeared in 1890. So now we went through the story once. We know the answers to these. So the first one would be this pot. We saw that in the first paragraph. It looked like a pot used by Egyptians and Babylonians, and also the inventors, the Greeks. The Greeks invented the first clocks. So now, number one is a pot. Number two was the one that the Germans made. Germans made the first clocks that didn't use water. It was a wall clock with a bell. Well, this is the one. This would be number two. It has a bell, as you can see, and it's one that you put on the wall. Bringing us to the third one. We had a man named Levi Hutchins. Levi Hutchins. Yes, no, there's no K sound, there's no K. It's Levi Hutchins of Concord, New Hampshire, which is in the U.S. New Hampshire is a state in the U.S. Oh, before this one, I think the Germans also made the grandfather clock. That actually is number three. This is a grandfather clock. Yes. So we have 1, 2, 3. And now we're talking about the alarm clock. Number 4. Yes, it was Levi Hutchins that made the first alarm clock in the U.S., but it only rang at 4 a.m. It's not very convenient, as most of you probably don't wake up at 4 a.m. Myself, I wake up around 7. So waking up at 4 a.m. would be 3 hours earlier, and I wouldn't like that. The first modern alarm clock wasn't completed until 1847. And the electric one appeared in 1890. So I hope you found that a little bit interesting. How do you tell time? Do you use a watch? Do you have a cell phone? Or perhaps you use your computer? Do any of you have an alarm clock? I mostly use my phone. That's why I bring my phone to class, so I know the time. I know some of you have a watch, which is also good. Anyway, as always, I want you to be safe. Wash your hands often. Wear your masks. Practice social distancing. I'll see you soon in class. where we can talk more about clocks if you want. Bye for now.